I'm going to share with you in this video the perfect virtual event sales process. This is something that we have spent the last 3 to 4 years perfecting and utilizing to grow our multi eight-figure company. And actually, I stole a lot of these concepts from some people you probably know, and I'll name drop them just so you can get some context. By the way, my name is Dan, and over the last 36 months, we have done over $10 million in this business. And so now we're on path to do multiple eight figures per year, and then even onwards and upwards to see where we can go. So today I'm going to share with you what I have learned and some things that I've done as far as a virtual event scaling roadmap. And I'm going to show you the $100 million roadmap, if you will, for a virtual event and how it's worked and who I learned from. So I'll just give you some name drops so I can help you understand who I learned this from. So initially, I learned it from Russell Brunson. Then I learned it from Dean Graziosi when he did mastermind.com. That became a $100 million a year company within, I think, the year. So the first time they ever did a launch, it was the biggest launch in internet history. I think they did $30 million in a matter of 30 days. And so that was a massive, massive launch. Then I saw it again more recently with a gentleman called Bill Von Fumetti. You don't know who he is. He's very unpopular in the space because he just behind the scenes just crushing it. And I remember meeting him at Russell Brunson's inner circle, grilling him about how he's spending $150,000 a day using a machine just like I'm about to share with you. And he perfected this machine so much so that he told me, he hadn't worked in that particular sales process for almost 18 months. He hadn't changed anything. And then lastly is I learned it from Alex Ramosi when he did his money models virtual book launch, and that thing did $100 million in 72 hours. And so I want to break it all down for you, conceptualize it, and give it to you in the processes so you can understand it. I have never seen anybody kind of document it this way, simply because I don't think they have the wherewithal to understand this, also they've never done it. So we have done it every single week for the last 4 years or so. And we've been perfecting this model. Now, they are very big B2C, meaning they have a huge target audience, and we have a very niche audience. And so when I give you this approach to our eight-figure funnel, if you will, it's difficult because we are in a very, very small area. So we help tax firms grow through tax planning. So it's in the wealth or make money niche, but it's through taxes and then even a smaller niche of tax strategy. And so that's a very niche thing, which is great for us, right? And so I just want to give you that context as we get into it. And I'm going to break this all down on my screen. So I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen so that way you can join in. And if you want the document after, just comment below and I'll happy to send it over to you. Again, I usually just share this stuff so I can document my thought process and then give to anybody who doesn't have this information, and then also to train our team so that our team can see what I consolidate. One of my friends, now my new friends, Skylar, says I'm a great synthesizer. So meaning I can take a lot of information and synthesize it into one consolidated thought process. And so I'll take that as a win. So thank you, Skylar, for that. Okay, so let me share my screen here, and I'm going to do some talking here. Okay, so here we go. So to start, I want to talk to you about who I learned this from. So I actually initially learned it from uh, Russell Brunson, and forgive my ugly handwriting. I learned it from Russell Brunson, and then I learned it from Dean Graziosi, all of which have built 100 million plus year companies, 100 million a year, right? Year, 100 million a year, and 100 million a year. Okay. And then we do 10 million plus year plus. Okay. Now, here's what I wanted to share with you. The big idea in every sales process, there's really a couple things that happen. So the big idea in every sales process is there's three types of people. And I learned this concept from Sharon who built $2 billion companies, one of them being Real Brokerage. So it's a company where I think they train real estate agents on the brokerage, whatever that is. But Sharon Srivatsa, I think that's his name. And so I learned this buyer continuum. And in every sales situation, there's really three types of people. Dean Graziosi puts it differently. He says there's three types of people. There's a hyperactive buyer, someone that wants it, gets it, and sees it immediately and will get it. Number two is the logical buyers, right? People that need to know all the information, need to see all the Yelp reviews, all the testimonials, all the FAQs be answered. And then the last one is the FOMO buyers, which are the people that need to hit to go to Walmart right before Walmart closes now. It used to be 24 hours, now it's not. Okay. And so I learned this and then again synthesized this idea from Sharon. And so in every buying situation, no matter what you do, there's always going to be people that are always going to say yes. Like they see it, they want it, they don't, you don't, you just have to get out of their way. They'll do what they're going to do what they want to do, irregardless of you. So that's the good news. Then there's going to be a pool of maybes, people that are like, I don't know if this is for me. I don't know if this is going to work, all that good stuff, head trash, all that stuff going on, right? And then there's going to be a percentage of people that always say no. No matter what you say, no matter what you do, you can be the best on planet Earth and they're still going to say no. Now, this, you don't have to worry about it because no matter what you do, they're still going to say no. So I wouldn't even worry about those guys. But our job as leaders is to convert the maybes because the maybes is where all the money is made. Now, in business, the reason the how you get more maybes to yes is really branding. The bigger the brand is, the more maybes you convert. And the longevity of your marketing. Longevity of your marketing. Meaning, the longer you stay in business, the more likely you are to convert the maybes because you have those people that come back later, in 6 months, they've been seeing you, following you for a very long time. So that's what really converts this thing. But in a sales process, there's a way you can create or manufacture longevity marketing, or Dean Graziosi calls it the stamina, the marketing stamina. Be able to market long enough that people could see you, watch you, and want to be with you, right? It's kind of like the same concept of when, if you ever watch shows, notice that in a show like Yellowstone, for an example, I didn't start watching till season three, but because I heard the word of mouth over time compound that I started watching at season three, and then I went back and watched season one through three to catch up. That's how your buyers are in most cases. There's only going to be a few people that start at season one, but the majority of your people are going to find out about you in season three, four, and five. And so our goal in this presentation here is to figure out how could we manufacture or recreate the maybes to yeses. How do we convert the maybes to yeses? How do we pull those bad boys this way? And there's a couple of components. There's an actual sales process that I'm going to show with you, and it's a visual. And the idea here is we want to get more yeses out of this. Now, for context, most business owners that I am talking to and listening to this, they only build based on who they are, which is yes. Meaning you have a high action threshold, meaning you can take very high action with very limited knowledge. Okay. And whereas other people, I'll just do like a little box. So if you think about the idea here is what I'm saying is you have a box here and you have high action, low information. I'll just put low info. Okay. High action, high info. Okay. Then we would go low action, high info, right? And then low action. And I'm doing like a McKinsey framework, if you will, consulting framework. This is how they do the consulting thing. And this is low info. Now, I will say this. These people are the easiest to sell to because they don't need a lot of information to make decisions. These people do want to make decisions, but they want a lot of information, which if all you did was convert these people and try your best to convert these people and build your whole process around them, you miss out on these guys and these guys because these guys take low action or less action. So meaning they don't move fast, but when they're given information, they do move, right? They do move. They just don't move as fast as these guys as compared. And then these guys right here, these guys are eventually, these are your like eventually people. Uh, and these guys eventually just go like this. They just translate that way. You know what I mean? So like low action, low info. If all you did was turn them into low action, high info, they become a buyer and then a buyer and then a buyer. These guys rarely will ever buy from you. These guys, right? Because they don't have an action, they don't want to do things, and they don't have information enough to do those things. And so it becomes very difficult to turn these people into yeses. So you want to convert the low action people to high info action people, right? And these people are going to convert no matter what. As long as, and you can see the variable here is information. Information is the variable. Okay. And so I share this with you because that's the big idea when it comes to the sales process. And what I'm about to share with you, there's really three core beliefs that every sales presentation must present and break. Okay. And let me move this. There's really three core beliefs that every presentation, virtual, in person, or whatever happens, that has to break. You have to break the vehicle core belief, like, can this thing do what it says it's going to do? Can this do what you said, right? Is there a likelihood of this thing working? Is there a likelihood of me doing this thing? Me, right? Do I have the resources? And this is where you get objections. This is where you get time, right? This is time. I don't have the time for this. I don't have the money. I don't have uh the support from spouse, right? And whatever else, false belief or external thing that they blame it on, right? Whatever extra belief. But the belief, by the way, the belief is shattered up here. So if you can shatter that I can see myself doing that, you actually increase belief. So that kind of solves that. But really, this is what comes up in calls or presentations is like, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I don't have the support. My wife doesn't support me, my kids don't support me, this is that and the other. Um, and that's really where this comes up, the external. You'll hear them say this. You'll rarely hear them say this. Unless, of course, it's the belief thing, and then they'll say, I can't do this. I can't do this. I'm not worthy. I'm not this. I'm not that. So there's a lot of I's in that thing. Okay. So now that you understand this thing, I can really break down the machine itself. So this is the $100 million virtual event marketing machine. I did a couple of minutes of just kind of pre-framing you and taking you through the journey. So now I'm going to walk you through the actual funnel process or the whole entire event. Okay. So we're going to take it from I'm gonna basically zoom in and zoom out. So right here in the middle is what we call the traffic flywheel. The traffic flywheel. This right here is where all traffic lays. This is where your ads, your email list, your SMS, your word of mouth, affiliates, podcasts, TVs, billboards, etc. All this is just attention. So it's your attention, and you're going to direct attention depending on what you're trying to do. Okay. So when it comes to let me see here. So when it comes to this entire event, if you will, structure, there's really three things that happen in this sales event. There is a promotion timeline to promote this event. There is a launch day, the day that you release this thing. Okay. I'm going to zoom in and zoom out. There's a promotion day. So it's a promotion to launch. And I'm not writing this on here, but I want you to listen to what I'm saying. The bigger the plane, the longer the runway. So if you want a launch to be massive, you have to take more time. If you don't care so much about this launch being and doing good, then you just give yourself a short time frame and a short turnaround, right? Like, so if you're trying to host an event with 1,000 or 10,000 people, you're going to need to promote for maybe 2 to 3 years, right? Or maybe 6 to 12 months, because just the sheer volume by which you have to promote that thing needs to increase. And so this goes without saying. It's like, depending on how big you want this launch to be, you have to plan in accordance, right? This is why people plan 2, 3 years in advance for an event that they're going to have. Okay, and every event compounds on itself. So the first one is the hardest. Every subsequent event after that becomes a lot easier. So I'm building this as if you're brand new and you don't know anything about what I'm telling you. So there's really three components of a launch like this. So it's the promotion to launch, it's the actual launch, like what happens during the day, and then there is the closing cart. This is like where things start going away. This is where the time closed down, the calendar gets constrained, meaning all the calendar is just loaded up, and it's just like essentially it's those three components. Okay, very similar to how Hollywood launches movies, right? They do. This is like the Taylor Swift thing, if you will. She's figured this out. Okay. And so we'll start from left to right because this is kind of how this works. So on the left-hand side, this mirrors how marketing works, right? They call it the AIDA approach, attention, interest, desire, action, right? AIDA. So in the first part, when you are creating this event, if you will, you have this planned on a date. And so what you need to do is a couple of weeks or a couple of months before, you have to create mystery or intrigue or curiosity. Something big is coming. Something is about to happen, right? This is where you start seeing trailers to a movie right before the current movie you're going to watch. They're actually giving you this pre-hype to get you ready for the movie that's going to come in the future, right? This is where you see the trailer for the new Avengers movie come out before the current Avengers movie you're watching, right? So it's always one builds upon the other. Okay. In between that time frame, from it's coming to it's here, you need to create what's called desire. Okay. And desire is you can increase desire by creating the mystery, and you can give enough context to the things that you're sharing. Hey, I'm about to share with you exactly how to do this. Here's 5 or 6 people that have done it. I can't wait to see you on X date. So like as soon as you start, as soon as right before here, right, you need to do a little bit of pre-framing, if you will. But this is where you announce registration. Okay. And so from the time you're doing a pre-hype to the time you announce to register, oh my gosh, like registration is open. You're thinking like if you visualize this, if you're in person, this is when you open the doors to come into your event, right? This is where you open the doors to come into your event. And so in the same concept, we're doing this virtually. So we're actually announcing, hey, people, we just opened the doors to register for this thing. Boom. You send your traffic flywheel. You start your traffic flywheel right here. Okay. And this is where you take all this stuff and you push everything there. Okay. Now there's three places you're going to need to be omnipresent, meaning you're going to be everywhere all at once. And I'll show you the three. The first one is to get people to register. You need to get as many registrants as possible, as many as you can. Okay. Because that is going to determine how many people show up, right? Because it's a math equation. All right. So you need to be omnipresent in the sense to get people excited to register. Once you got people excited to register, literally everything else is this is what you call a nurture phase. Nurture. This is where you're warming them up and increasing desire. Oh my gosh, I just registered. Here's what's going on. And everything here, you're going to send your ads, you're going to send all your things, and everything here, the CTA is register, 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 right? You're promoting the registration for all these things. I know this is a lot, guys, but this is how you do $100 million, or even 8 figures. It's a lot. And I'm going to show you how you can essentially use this, but also automate it to some degree, just like my buddy Bill did. And now he spends $150,000 a day on an automated process just like this. but you have to do it a couple times so you understand how this works. And so you break beliefs of, this whole process. Can this work for me? Can this work at all? Do I have everything I need? Is this going to be in person? Where is it going to be? What's the whole thing, right? These are all the things you need to be sharing inside of these value or belief breaking videos or emails or text messages or ads, whatever you're doing here. The idea here is you want to get them to remove everything that they can possibly think, and their old world is leaving behind because the new world's about to begin for them. And you want to increase desire so much that you're like, oh my gosh, I cannot afford to miss this. Okay. And the more you can share here, the more you increase desire over here for the event launch. And so I like to spend a pretty disproportionate amount of time to increasing desire and making them literally salivate, right? Like the Pavlov's dogs. You want to literally make them salivate. Oh my gosh, 24 hours countdown. We are about to go live. The now the doors have opened to register, right? Come in the door. Now you're going to open the doors to the offer. Now the event in and of itself, you can have 1 to 5 day event or 7 day event, right? Whatever you want. But all this event structure is all this is doing is intended to get someone. This is your buying sales process. This is where people buy. All the whole intention of this time frame right here is literally just to frame people so much so that they have to say yes to whatever you're selling. This is how my buddy Bill sells 800 to 1,000 people a month at 5,000 a piece. And so if you're doing the math, that's roughly $4 to $5 million a month. Yes, he does that. All right. Crazy. Um, and that's cool for him. Right. And so this is where most people will stop. They will stop right here where the event started. And they just say, here's the thing. What I'd venture to say is this is just the beginning of the sales process. Like literally, you spent all this time to fill up this thing, but what about when all these people, let's say you do a 1 or 2 day event, and all these people still have questions? You only converted 33% of the people that could buy. Remember in the scenario I gave you, there was 10 to 20% of the people that are just going to see it and buy it. You didn't answer any questions, you didn't do anything for them. Like they still have unanswered questions, and unanswered questions lead to inaction. And so your job now is this is just the start. Then what we have is a replay, right? You notice that every event always has a replay or a recap. Um, and the replay or recap is really intended to just let these guys see this again, or whoever missed it, because if you have a 2 day event, right? There's chances are they missed something. They didn't hear everything. And yeah, you structured your 1 to 5 day event to give them everything they need. But honestly, let's be honest. When they get this new information, they are always going to be overwhelmed. Think about what you're going through right now mentally. If you're watching this, you're like, Dad, that is crazy amount of value, but that is a lot of stuff. I have to do everything. Oh my gosh. So you're going to have to watch this 3 or 4 times, or maybe 5 to 10 times. And you're gonna be like, okay, I get it now. I just have to see it 4, 5, 10 times before it actually anchors into my brain. And so that's why you give a replay or a recap. For me, I'm doing this on YouTube, so um, it's gonna be automatically there. All right. Then logically, here's how the brain processes things. You're gonna want to answer the questions that came up during the event, during the launch. Most people don't answer those questions, or if they do, they kind of run right past them. Like, here's the questions, here they are. What I like to do is I like to separate this because I don't have the time to watch 16 hours or 10 hours or even 2 hours. What if I could just shorten the gap and get a 5 to 15 minute video answering all the questions about the offer that you made over here? Right now, I'm saying 5 to 15 minutes, but it could be 2 hours. It could be an actual bonus day, which we do. We do a bonus day, where we load up this, and then we load up this, and then we load up this, right? But imagine if all you did was break this thing into, after the launch, you break this into a 60-minute thing or a 90-minute thing. Then you send another one on the next day of a 15 to 5 to 15-minute thing. So now you're giving the same value, but just shortened. You're just giving them enough information to make a decision. That's all they need. You don't need to over explain. You just need to explain so much they can make a decision. And then you can give a social proof where you could literally send them a video or a 2 to 10 to 15-minute, whatever you want, reel or cycle of just other people like them. Social proof, right? Like literally testimonial galore. Who else like me has done this? Literally, that's why I started this call with name dropping people that you probably know or have heard of that qualifies me to say this. And also, I give you my track record of success. So you can say, okay, who else like me has done this? Okay. And in this particular scenario, what you're trying to do is you're trying to convince the logical buyers. The people that over here on this little uh, format that I showed you. Oh, I don't know where this format is. I'll go back later. But in that square that I showed you earlier of the people that have low action but need high information. This is where, or high action, high information is required. Okay. And these people right here, this is where you have your FOMO buyers, or said differently, this is where you need to get your low action people to high information, but get them into action. This is how you get your low action people into high action because you actually take the thing away from them. You take away what they have because they think, well, I'll just wait to take action on this. No, you can't. You have to push through, right? So this is how you take your low action people to high action and high information. So if you think about the kind of like, I'll put H for high and then I for information, right? So high information. Oh, let me see if I can do this right. Let me see if I can. I'm just going to do it here. I was going to, okay. So I'm going to put high action, low information, right? You want these guys. These are the guys you want. Okay. These are the guys, high action. I'm going to put HA, high information. These guys right here are your next tier that you want. And then you have low action, high information. Info. Okay. And then you have low action, low information, right? And so you want to move these people this way and you want to move these people this way, right? And what this does is, um, right? So throughout the sales process, you're actually moving these guys this way and these guys this way. And these guys are just going to do what they do. They're going to do whatever they do anyways. So you want to capture these guys and these guys in your sales process. And you do so by creating this mechanism like this. Inside the closing, all your goal is to do is literally to tell them, hey, this thing that I gave an offer to is going away, this special discount, the special thing, that whatever it is, it's going away. And if you want action on it, here's where you go. You go to your sales page, you go wherever you want them to go. You tell them to go somewhere. Now, if you're booking calls, you take them to your sales calendar and just put the calendar here and don't, just close off the page and put a wait list as soon as you say that time is going away. You just redirect to another page that says wait list. But your close, you need to be hardcore on the close. You need to like everyone that could buy should buy, right? Because you need to wrap that loop. You need to loop that thing. You need to close the loop on the people that are you just got to think about it. These people came here because they were like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing I've ever seen, but they have questions. And so you need to close them down by answering their questions, by giving them other people, and then just telling them like, look, this is what it is. Are you coming or not? Like the train is leaving, right? I'm not going to do you a disservice because you can't make a decision. I'm going to take my responsibility as a leader to ensure that you can make a decision because I gave you all the information. Now, if you decide this is not for you, great. But I want to give you all the things to think through so you can make a decision. And then you have a 48-hour countdown, right? 24-hour countdown. And then you have a last call for alcohol. Now, I say that jokingly, but why do you think they do that? Because they're trying to get everybody who could do to do, right? I don't know what this is. I don't know how that came up. But and then what you do from there is you literally, I have no idea how this came up. Oh man. Okay. So all you do here is you take all this thing you just did for this entire event, and you can either automate it to some degree, semi-automate it, or have a team structured into this thing, or you open the loop for the next event. You say, last call, thank you so much. And by the way, let me open the loop for something else that's coming. Right? And that's how you take one launch, make it evergreen, or turn it into a launch for something else. Right? This is how you could do a self-fulfilling event. This is how these guys did $100 million marketing machine launch, and how you can replicate this thing. To be fair, so I share this because this is what we've done, and I hope this thing brought you value. And if it did, just drop a comment if you want this little document and stuff. But again, I just share this because these are the things that I know to do, and I've been doing it for years now. So, and I've been learning from some of the best masters in the, in the marketplace. And so, um, yeah, hope this helps.